Hello everyone, and welcome to the Special Explainer by Rungta IAS Academy. Today, we are decoding a really high-yield topic for your GS Paper 2 syllabus, the selection of the next United Nations Secretary General.
Exactly, ma'am. The race for the world's top diplomatic post has officially kicked off. And honestly, understanding the nuances of this election is absolutely crucial, not just for prelims, but for your mains answers too. Let's jump right in.
So, to set the context for our current affairs, picture this. Just recently, on April 21st and 22nd, 4 candidates stepped up to the podium right in the UN General Assembly Hall. They formally pitched their records of public service and their visions for leadership in these informal, interactive dialogues. The process is well underway, aspirants. And here is our syllabus-aligned roadmap for today. We'll cover the GS2 context, mandate and election, the triple crisis, candidates and priorities, and wrap up with exam takeaways. All right, starting with Section 1, GS2 context, looking at the UN chief's role. Now, I want you to mentally link this foundational part straight to your core international relations notes. What exactly is this role? Well, the UN Charter officially defines the Secretary General as the Chief Administrative Officer. But let's be real, in practice, they're widely known as the world's chief diplomat. For prelims, please mark this down. They have the specific mandate to bring any issue threatening global peace directly to the Security Council. Ma'am, spot on, sir. And they also have this really dynamic authority to appoint personal envoys, just like Antonio Guterres has been doing for the ongoing conflict in West Asia. Basically, they act as the world's conscience on everything, from climate change to the global arms race. Moving on to Section 2, mandate and election. How is the chief actually chosen? Okay, the procedural mechanics of this election are an absolute favorite for UPSC prelims statement-based questions. It's a crucial 2-step process in the UN Charter. Step 1 is the recommendation about the Security Council, and this is where the geopolitical reality really hits hard. The permanent 5 members, China, France, Russia, the UK, and the US, they have a massive say here. Step 2 is the actual appointment by the General Assembly. Whoever wins will take office on January 1, 2027.
Also, keep the customary regional rotation in mind. While it's technically discretionary, the post usually rotates among 5 global regions. Right now, the geopolitical dynamics are definitely favoring Latin America and the Caribbean, with different nations backing Spanish and English-speaking candidates.
Next up, Section 3, the triple crisis. Why does this specific election matter right now? So, why is an 80-year-old institution struggling so much to fulfill its basic mandate? The truth is, it's facing severe institutional paralysis. Let's break this down. First, financial. The UN relies heavily on assessed contributions, but delayed and unpaid dues are causing a massive funding crisis. Then, political. The Security Council is basically paralyzed by constant acrimony and P5 vetoes. Security-wise, the UN is sadly failing to prevent major conflicts. Look at Gaza, Ukraine, Sudan. We are even seeing host countries demanding mission withdrawals, like in Mali. And we definitely cannot ignore the developmental crisis, sir. Think about this. Only 18% of the Sustainable Development Goals are actually on track for 2030. Just 18%. The humanitarian system is stretched to its absolute limit. The next chief isn't just going to be an administrator. They have the monumental task of rejuvenating a crippled organization. Bringing us to Section 4, candidates and priorities. The contenders for the top job. Right, so who's actually stepping up to this task? Notice the gender balance among the official contenders. 2 men and 2 women are in the running. It is genuinely fascinating to see their different approaches to preventative diplomacy. Guys, I strongly advise you to memorize these specific themes for your mains answers.
Michelle Bachelet is heavily focused on field presence and climate. Then you have Grynspan, who's proposing a radical first 100 days restructure, uniquely merging human rights with conflict prevention.
Yes, and then there's Macky Sall. He's focusing on migration and has boldly stated he'd call out P5 violators of international law, no small feat. Finally, Rafael Grossi is emphasizing UN-World Bank relations. While all of them champion preventative diplomacy, their specific priorities give us totally different blueprints for UN reform. Ma'am, finally, Section 5. Exam takeaways, mains and interview application. Let's bring this explainer to its climax by connecting all these dots directly to your mains and interview prep. Here's a highly probable mains practice prompt for you. Discuss the role of the UN Secretary General in the context of emerging global crises and institutional paralysis. When you sit down to write this answer, aspirants, you absolutely must interlink the static UN Charter mandate with the dynamic crises we just talked about: the Mali withdrawal, Gaza, Ukraine, and that glaring 18% SDG shortfall. And to wrap up, here is a provocative mock question for your personality test. If the Security Council remains paralyzed by vetoes, can the next Secretary General truly be the world's conscience, or are they destined to be just an administrator?
That is quite the geopolitical puzzle to ponder, isn't it? Analyze the facts, form your own balanced opinions, and keep revising. Thank you so much for joining Rungta IAS Academy today. Keep studying hard, and we'll catch you in the next explainer.